Hi guys, it's Kikamoni here and I'm so excited. I'm finally going to be making bone broth with you today. So bone broth is kind of a longer process. It's really great to do on the weekends or whenever you have extra time. It's definitely like a day off meal prepping kind of deal, and it takes a long time to make, so you want to make sure that you start it at a time when you will be around to stop it, and then beyond that to let it cool to put away, because it takes a while for it to cool down afterwards. So I am going to be making bone broth today in my Instant Pot, but you can also make it in a crock pot or on the stove top. So if you do crock pot or stove top, those take like 15 hours to cook, so you want to plan it and do it like overnight. If you put all of the same ingredients that we're going to do here right now in your crock pot, say, and put it on low before you go to bed, and then let it cook all night long and then continue until it's been about 15 hours, that is a great way to do it. I used to do it that way before I had the Instant Pot. In fact, I didn't know about bone broth until I started doing keto. And then at one point I was reading the recipes for it. Everyone keeps talking in keto world about how important bone broth is and how you should really make it a staple on a day-to-day basis. And I was like reading the ingredients and checking out recipes, and I asked my sister at one point, like, what's the difference between bone broth and regular broth? And she was like, nothing. It's exactly what you do with your overnight broth that you make. And I'm like, why do they call it bone broth? I guess there's people that make broth without using the bones. I don't know, I've always done it, but it's a thing now. So anyway, it's really good for you, super nutritious. And we're about to make it right now. So here we go. Without further ado, I'm just gonna go over the things that you need for it. And then we're just going to dig right in. So you need 2 leftover whole roasted chickens. You don't want to use raw chicken or chicken bones that have not been cooked. I get rotisserie chickens at the grocery store. They're less expensive than buying your own chicken and cooking it. So as sad as that is, it's more cost effective and they're delicious and perfectly cooked every time. To just buy one pre-made at the store, and then it's something that, like, you know, can help you out on a weeknight dinner. And anyway, I get them at Costco. They're huge, they're delicious, and they're only $4.99. So I don't buy 2 at once just to make the bone broth, but what I do is I get a chicken and then I break it down and then I freeze the leftover bones and drippings and some of the skin and whatever meat I deem like unusable, and freeze that, put it in a baggie, and leave it in the freezer until I buy my next rotisserie chicken. And then I make it at that time when I have my second one. So last night I actually pulled the frozen one out of the freezer to make this video today because I knew I was going to be making bone broth anyway, and I figured why not? It's one of the things that I love most, and I love all things food and just want to share it because I feel like so many people could benefit from this great recipe. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm just gonna like tip the camera forward here so you can see inside the Instant Pot. Whoa, 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 sorry, bear with me. There we go. We've got the Instant Pot going on, and I'm gonna show you everything I put in there and how it all plays out. All right, I'm impressed with this camera situation right now. It's kind of exciting. Okay, so what you want to do is I'm just going to go ahead and lay down some of my veggies first. We've got 2 carrots peeled and halved. Okay, I've got 3 stalks of celery cut into thirds, and as many celery leaves as I could pull off of the bundle. I've got 2 bay leaves. I've got 4 crushed smashed and peeled garlic cloves, although you can use 2. I've got 1 like medium-sized onion halved. I have 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. That helps to extract the collagen out of the bones, I believe, which gives it that, when it's cool, the bone broth has like a super thick texture to it, almost kind of like jelly-like, and that's what helps out with that. I've got 1 teaspoon of salt, and that is it, aside from the chickens. So let's go ahead and add the chickens. All right, so here is the fresh chicken that's left over from my chicken white enchilada sauce recipe that I made yesterday, which if you have not seen it, I would definitely check it out. It's delicious. Oh my gosh, there's a lot more usable meat on this than I thought. I'm just gonna sorry, this is like real life here. I'm just gonna save that meat because I did not realize I left like a half a thigh on there. Okay, so chicken goes in. Here's like the whole chicken carcass. I know that's kind of a gross word, but that's what it is. And I just like bust it up into pieces so that it all fits really well. See there how there's that like weird jelly that you would normally be like, ew, and throw away? You want that. Those are the pan drippings, and when they get cold, they get kind of jelly-like. But they've got a ton of flavor, and it really adds something. Okay, so I'm just kind of ripping it into pieces here so that it fits really nicely into the Instant Pot. Again, there's some more of that jelly there. It's like taken on the shape of the, the mold. And we've got some skins, some like whatever that is, chicken pieces. Here we go, and then see here in the bottom, most of the time it does not stick as nicely to the chicken as it did just then, but it's like all down in the grooves. And so if it's one of those times when it's all down in the little grooves here, dig it out. Get in there with like a butter knife or your fingers if you're like a finger chef like me. And don't be shy. You want that stuff in the pot. Now here is the one that I had frozen, ta-da, and then pulled out into the fridge last night, and it's still like partially frozen. I can break it up though, which is nice. Otherwise it's just a big hunk of frozen chicken in there, which I've totally done. If you're doing it without thawing this one out, I would just put it down on the bottom first and then put all the other stuff on top. Okay, here we go. So that's it. We have 2 leftover rotisserie chicken bones with attached meat and pan drippings. We have 2 carrots, 3 pieces of celery, 4 smashed garlic cloves, 1 onion, 2 bay leaves, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of cider vinegar. Now I am adding about 2 liters of water. Oh, I don't want to spill. To this, and then we're gonna see if we need to add more. I want it to go all the way. There's a little line in here that's like a max line. Oh good, I get to add more. There's a little line in there that's for like maximum filling, and we want to go all the way to the max line. All right, I'm filling up another 2 liters, my giant measuring cup. Here we go. I'm not going to end up using all of the second 2 liters, but let's see. So that wound up being, let's see there. Oh, about 1.5. So that was a total of about 3.5 liters of water that we added in there. And then that's it. Basically, you're going to want to lock your lid in place. And then on mine, there is a setting for soup/broth. That's exactly what we're going for here. So you put the Instapot lid on. If I could pay attention, you lock it in place, okay? And then you are going to, here, let me give you a view of the front of this thing. There's a setting right there for soup or broth. you're gonna wanna select that one, okay? And then you set it to cook for, oh gosh, let me see here. I don't wanna mess this up. Let me just check my notes. Oh, like 2 hours. So it takes a while for it to come to temperature, and then it cooks on high pressure for 2 hours. And then after that, you're gonna wanna let it come down naturally for about 30 minutes. And then after that point, you press the release button and it releases all the steam, and then you let it cool off and put it away for eating, drinking. Anyway, I'm gonna come back after my 2 hours and show you how that second part of it breaks down. And then what I like to do to strain it too and store it. So stay tuned, and I'll be back in a minute with the next step of this. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and press start and let the pressure start building so we can whittle away at that 2 hours. Again, it's a longer process, so make sure you start this early enough in the day that you have time to really deal with it. But it's such a great reward. So I'm excited to share it with you, and I'll be back in a minute with the rest of the story. Oh, perfect. There it is. Soup broth, 2 hours. Start. There you have it. It's preheating. The temperature's coming up. Once it builds pressure, it will start that 2 hours. So with the preheating and then the 30-minute cool down, you can count on probably like 3 hours total for this mission. Back at the end of the 2 hours. Hi guys, I am back now to show you what happens next. So the Instapot preheated, it came up to temperature, it went the full 2 hours, and then beyond that you want to do what's called a natural release for at least 30 minutes. It's been a little longer than that, it's been about 40 minutes, but that's okay. It's just more concentrated flavor in the bone broth. So now there's a button to do a quick release. This is the point where you would want to press that. It's a little loud, just to warn you. Boom, so that releases the pressure. And then as soon as that is released, we will go ahead and take the bone broth out and strain it and then store it. So I'm gonna go ahead and move the camera so you can get a better view of this next part and see really what goes into it, and go from there. Okay, so it has finished releasing the steam. It took about 2 to 3 minutes for all of the steam to finally come out. And now we open it up, and there you have it. That's your first peek at the bone broth. So there's a lot of stuff in here that you need to get out, a lot of bones. We're just going to pull them out and set them to the side here. And then if you have dogs like I do, I save them the chicken and carrots and celery and stuff, almost like a treat for them, sort of like homemade dog food, or you could just throw it away. It's kind of a lot of effort, and there's always little bones in here you have to watch for, so dealer's choice. I just try not to be wasteful. But let's go ahead and go for the gusto here. So if you see, you press down, there's this nice golden broth. It's rich in color. It's, oh my gosh, I wish you could smell it. It makes the whole house smell amazing. It's got this beautiful golden color to it. And what you want to do is take it out ladle by ladle full. Here, I'm going to actually scooch this over because I'm more comfortable scooping to the right. Anyhow, you take it out ladle by ladle full, and you put it into a strainer, and then into a bowl. So then from there, after it's all strained, I usually pour it into several jars and then allow it to cool. And then you want to make sure you keep it refrigerated. It's good in the refrigerator for like, I would say around 4 days. When I researched it, it said like 3 to 5. So usually what I will do is put a bunch of it in the refrigerator, and then leave enough that I can have some during the week. But usually there's more than you would need just during the week. So I like to freeze it. That way, if you want to use some for a recipe, you've got it on hand. If you're, ooh, that was close. I almost spilled all that stuff. But that's okay. If that happens, you can just strain it again because you're going to have to transfer it to jars or whatever. Anyway. But if you're not feeling so hot, you can pull some out of the freezer, thaw it out super quick, warm it up. It's great if you are doing a bone broth fast. Sometimes people like to do that where they just have like water and bone broth. You can use it in soups, in recipes. It's amazing. As you can tell, I'm a big fan. After this cools, there will be like a little bit of fat that settles on top. So you'll just want to scrape that off. Unless you're just like hardcore and you're going to go for it and you want that. So there's some of the goodness we're going to toss out there. And then what's left behind is this golden, amazing, rich consistency bone broth. Oh, it smells so good. It tastes so good. It has like the most amazing, complex flavor to it for a broth. Sometimes I just bring like a bowl's worth of this and eat that for lunch on like a regular weekday. It's so satisfying and so delicious. And there you have it. I could go on and on and on about this all day, but there it is, my beloved bone broth. I suggest you give it a try, and I hope you enjoy. If you like the video, please subscribe. If you really like it, give it a thumbs up. If you want more to come, hit the little bell, and then you'll get alerts every time I post a new video. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you try making bone broth yourself. If you have any questions, please make a comment down below, and more to come. So hang in there. And if anybody made it this far and they're still watching and wondering what's coming next, I have some very exciting videos coming out this week. So please stay tuned and tune in. Make sure you hit that bell so you know when it happens. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. And please, please, if you haven't already, make your own bone broth. It's amazing. Take care.